you guys know what time it is. When you hear that intro music, it means that it's Thursday. It means that you're in the right spot, and it means that you're about to get to this football game that we got laid out for you guys for tonight. So thank you so much for joining us in the Locker Room Show. I am your host, Coach Terrence Wood, the gentleman that holds me down every single, and we may have lost our guest for a hot second because he is on the road, but the gentleman that holds me down every single week in the locker room, that's none other than the greatest, and that is Q, the Guru. What's going on, Guru?
What's going on, Coach? We got to finish this debate, man. I'm not done yet. We gotta get back into it, man. We got a lot of good stuff to do. But yeah, man, we gotta get to the bottom of this, baby.
Yeah, I know you got some things on your mind. So let me get to the guest, because as you guys can see, he's doing us a huge favor. He's at work. He's taking a break. He's telling people, watch out for the boss, so that he can get on the Locker Room Show with us. And that is none other than very dear friend of mine. This is somebody, you guys, that was an amazing linebacker. Most don't know that he started at the University of Northwestern, but now he's a buff, tried and true, and he also has a law enforcement background. He's got a son that is a big-time prospect, you guys. So we're excited to have Anwawn Jones on with us. He's going to share some of his recruiting sauce. He's going to share about his journey and especially what his son is going through. So let me switch these gentlemen around real quick and hold on real quick.
Hey, T.
Yeah,
I gotta jump off real quick. I'll be back in a couple seconds. I gotta jump off though. I'm
thing.
Yanked by I'm gonna be right back. I promise you.
Okay, do your thing, baby. All right. So hey, you guys don't know this, but obviously we are live, and we always do the Locker Room live because we want to bring the truth to you guys. We want you guys to have an option for Q&A. So we're live now. You guys saw these clips of Anwawn. He's actually in law enforcement. He's done SWAT. He's currently living in California, you guys, but he's originally from LA. Currently, they had something go on within his jurisdiction, wherever he is policing. I believe in Oakland. They had a shooting go on, and they asked him to come in and speak on behalf. So as you see, he's not even in uniform, but he had to rush to go speak on behalf of the law enforcement department for Oakland. So this is live, this is real, but he is granting us his time, and he'll be right back with us. So Q, while we buy him a little time, this is a huge week, man. Huge week in college football. And there's a lot that we don't know if it was true, what we saw, or if it was fake. So what's some of the top things on your mind, man, this week as we get into week 2 of college football?
Week 2 is where it starts. You start seeing as the cream separates and rises to the top. You start getting real around week 2, week 3. I know my Jayhawks they got Illinois coming into Lawrence, so that's gonna be a good ball game for us. And obviously, you guys got Nebraska first home game. That's gonna be probably the loudest stadium in America, hands down. With that first. Ain't no telling, man. You might see Obama on the sideline in Boulder, man. Ain't no telling, because
not what it used to be. Not what it used to be, because that used to be, a top 5 battle right there. But like you said, it's going to be a lot going on. In your opinion, first glance of the Buffaloes, did they pass the Guru eye test?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's some things that they need to show up, and I know that Coach Prime let them know that, like, hey, that was a good game, a good outing, but I can get more out of you. That's what good coaches do. They always, it's when you think like you've done your best, they figure out how to get even more out of you. So they have some things that they need to tighten up a little bit on defense. Offense obviously showed out, but I wish y'all the best, definitely, man. It's gonna continue being a lot of upsets. Obviously, what did we see? Because we saw Florida State off LSU. Duke off Clemson. We were talking about
that was a big one. Yeah,
that was
a
huge.
big one.
Yeah, if you bet someone lost their home on that game.
So if you're just joining us, you guys, we are going to have Anwawn Jones with us shortly. Once again, this is somebody that is in law enforcement. There was a tragedy, it sounds like, in the Oakland area, and he was called in to speak on behalf of the Oakland Police Department and handle some things. But he'll be right back with us shortly. We'll start the show. We got an amazing show planned for you guys. Also going to talk about his son. That's a 4-star recruit, Marco Jones. He's playing at San Ramon High in the Bay Area. Top 2025 linebacker. I'm talking about, maybe top 3 in the country. So, the recruiting gets a little different depending on how high your ranking is, man.
Absolutely.
And with NIL now, and I know a bunch of people that are going through the same similar type thing, man. In the recruiting today, man, nothing's off the table.
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, you can be 16 years old now with your own sandwich. So it's whatever now. It don't matter.
Yeah.
But again, and we keep saying that's the thing, is that you have to surround these kids, and keep them on the right track, because it's like when they have all these offers, and in addition to that, you have checks rolling, NIL situations, it's very, very easy to get off track. You're 16, 17, 18 years old, and the game's changed so much. So when I say it takes a village, man, it takes a whole city now almost, because things are moving that quickly.
Tell me this, Q, while we wait for Anwawn to come back on. Back in our day, man, it was like, okay, the sooner they offer you, or maybe how early they talk about you can play, was like the determining factor on how much they liked you.
Right.
If you're a parent today of a recruit, is it the same, or are you evaluating NIL money based off of how much they like you? How are you feeling as a parent today?
Well, I mean, as a parent, it's more factors to look at. I mean, you have to look at, like you said, your position. How early can I get on the field? If you have an idea what you're going to major in, you have to look at, okay, as far as programs for, in regards to education. And then you got to look at NIL. If you're a 4 or 5-star kid that's highly regarded, you got to look at it. I mean, because no one's going to ignore a bag, but everything has to line up. And the problem is, sometimes you have a lot of kids that are maybe making the wrong decision because they're just chasing the bag. But they're not looking at all the other bullet points, and everything doesn't line up, and they really end up in a bad situation. Even though they got a bag, they're not happy where they're at and end up having to transfer out anyway. We saw that a lot at Texas A&M. They got in a slew of 4 or 5-star killers, but a lot of them, had to jump ship because the environment wasn't to their liking.
Yeah, and the juice wasn't worth the squeeze for Jimbo. It seemed like it was more drama than anything else.
It was.
I see some of our favorites coming on in. We got the great Jimmy Rucker, and he says, okay, Coach Prime, Big Jimmy knows I'm a former CU buff. So, always a CU buff, but former player. So he's saying, what's up with the Buffaloes? We got the Munoz family coming out of Texas, as always, the great Coach Fall. So, hey, for those that are joining us live right now, we will have the great Anwawn Jones on shortly, you guys. Once again, phenomenal football player out of the University of Colorado. Started his career at Northwestern and then transferred when Gary Barnett came to the Buffs. He is currently in law enforcement, you guys. He's done SWAT. He's going to give us some law enforcement game too, so some of you guys can stay out of trouble. But unfortunately, he was called in spur of the moment to handle something that was tremendously important with the law enforcement. So we're expecting him to join us here shortly. He's got a big-time recruit son, Marco Jones, linebacker, top 2025 prospect, has offers, you guys, from Colorado, from Oregon, has offers from Alabama all over the country. So we're definitely looking forward to talking to Anwawn about what their family is going through, because he stands to get some NIL money like Q and I are talking about. And, you know, it's a new day and age because not every dollar is a good dollar, you
Right.
know, and we're going to get into some topics here later, Q, where unfortunately the scammers are out, man. The scammers are out in the NIL world. And you know, we need these athletes to watch out for it. So, you know, while we're waiting on Anwawn to join us, man, we had a little debate earlier today. And
we did.
you know, and the debate was over this gentleman right here, Travis Hunter, who is a Heisman candidate. He's actually shot towards the top of the Heisman candidate race. But you and I were talking about something a little different, man. We were talking about this gentleman possibly, because he is a two-way superstar, looks elite, at least versus TCU, going both ways. So we had talked about, man, can he be the very first person to pull off the triple crown and win the Heisman, the Thorpe, and the Biletnikoff? Now, I felt a certain way, and you felt a certain way. Why don't you tell the audience how you felt about it?
I mean, of course. When you look at what this kid did, he had 3 PBUs. He had a pick. He really should have had 2 picks, I believe. And then there was 2 deep passes that he couldn't quite hold on to. So he still finished up with 11 catches and 119 yards, which with those two catches, those 2 long balls, really would have been almost closer to 200 yards. So if you look at production like that and you see this kid's true capability, and then the fact that he still can return kicks and punts, I mean, he can shut down any D. No one can really check him when he's on, and he can take any kick or punt to the house. It's like he's covering all bases, so he has to be, you know, in contention for all 3 of those awards, and at the top of the list for all 3. He's shown it to you.
So when you sit back as someone voting on these awards, doesn't the Heisman encompass them all? If I give them the Heisman, isn't that good? And I can give somebody else the Biletnikoff and the Thorpe?
No, the Heisman does in a sense. It encompasses them all in a sense, but it's not position specific. So it's like you have and what did my man say on Jerry Maguire? It's the Quan of all the awards, but then obviously the Biletnikoff and the Thorpe, both of those are positions, you know. So that's it. If this with 6 to 7 picks and 1,000 yards or more, which is very, very reachable, as you can see, takes a couple of kicks to the house, man, you got to give it. You have to.
We got the great Coach Jones coming in, Coach Hughes, John Hughes coming in. He's saying Heisman is going to a Pac-12 quarterback. He's saying it's not going to be. So he must be thinking Caleb, or he must be thinking Bo, or Shador.
You know what? And I like Bo Nix. I still don't understand what happened with Bo Nix. When he was at Auburn, I liked him at Auburn, so I never really knew the backstory of why he transferred. Although he is seeing success out in Oregon, but I tell you what, Coach. When they go head up and Travis picks off Caleb to the house, then we can talk, and you're going to remember this conversation, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Man, the boy is the truth, man. He really is. Like, I knew he was good, but it was like, man, like he can dominate on both sides. It's not like it's usually when you see a kid like that, like we've seen Champ do it, you know, and Champ was a good receiver. He actually was. He was just a great athlete. We saw Chris Gamble do it. We saw Woodson, you know, play Spain. Some big plays on offense, but this kid can legitimately dominate on sides. Almost like in baseball, you're an ambidextrous pitcher, and you can throw in the 90s from each hand. That's you don't like. you're not supposed to be able to do
now.
that.
Now, does
You
he
know?
have to sustain that many plays to pull that off? In your
Well, he
opinion?
doesn't. He doesn't. That's the thing about it. He's so explosive. I mean, if you do the math, okay, he got 11 catches for 119 yards, right, Coach? But he's so explosive. He's one of those guys. He can take a 5-yard the house, and with all that yak, that's still 92 yards. You see what I'm saying? So even at 4 or 5 catches a game, maybe 6, he's still gonna have 100 yards and doesn't need a ton of catches. So he'll still get
Okay,
to
so
1,000
let me
yards.
ask you this. Let's take Heisman off the table. And we're just
Okay.
looking at Thorpe or we're looking at Biletnikoff. Which one do you think would be the easiest for him to obtain?
The easiest would be the easiest would be the Thorpe.
Okay.
The reason being is because you do have you do have obviously Marvin Harrison, which I think his son is the front runner probably for the Biletnikoff, but he can't play corner. So it's one of those things where it's like when so it's like, well, how much ability does he have? I mean, if you look at Marvin Harrison's son, which to me he is top 3 receivers in college football, hands down. But it's like with a kid like him, if you have 12 or 1,300 yards and Travis has 1,000 or 1,100 and playing corner, you see what I mean? That's what I'm saying. You have to really go in
You got to give
Travis's
us flowers.
direction. You have to.
Yeah, no, that's a great point right there. And for those that are just joining us, thank you for joining us live. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. The gentleman you see on the other side of me, that is the great Q Guru. We are waiting for Anwawn to come back. He joined us. We're live, you guys. He is in law enforcement. Unfortunately, there was a major situation that he had to run away for a second. Hopefully, we should have him back here shortly. But since we got you, we're going to talk about some of these football topics that we got in front of us. And the one that Q and I are going back and forth on are young Travis Hunter. Can he win all 3? Can he be the first one ever, you guys, to win the Heisman, the Thorpe, and the Biletnikoff? Now, we discussed it, and obviously you guys just heard Q. Q said he should be able to do it all. If he maintains his level of production, they should give him all 3. In my opinion, I don't think he's getting all 3. There's too many things that the perception that comes with that, man. If you give him all 3, you're basically labeling him as the best skilled player ever. If you give him all 3, which I don't know, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. He's only a true sophomore, so maybe we'll see. If you give him all 3, you're also saying that he's better than Harrison, who you brought up, and I'm not going to cuss on the Locker Room Show, but I'm definitely not going to say that he's better than Harrison. But it's almost cussable. And then. At the end of the day, baby, he's only a sophomore, so I can give him a little sprinkle. I could pat his back a little bit, but wait till next year and maybe give him one that he's missing. So
I mean, but Coach, let's see. Here's the thing: you look at Johnny Football won the Heisman as a freshman. So Travis is a sophomore. So I mean, the class you got to eliminate the class situation. That's irrelevant. Because I mean, if you really think about it, if that freshman running back at CU, if he keeps doing damage like that, he's going to be in the running. And you could see here's another question, folks. Here's another question we could talk about. What if you end up seeing all 3 of the finalists, top 3, and they all? That's possible.
You broke up a little bit. What you say? They're all what?
I said no. What if they're all Colorado Buffs? What if it's Shador Travis and the freshman phenom running back? What if they fit? Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of different ways this could go. But what Travis showed us, that was just something special, man. That's he for this generation. He's one of those once in a generation type talents. He is.
You don't think it was a one-off? You don't think that it was just him in the zone?
Because when you tape, if you go to YouTube and look at his high school tape, it was the same thing. He was, man, locked down corner, and he was just going deep bombs away, man, and doing whatever he wanted on offense. And the same thing translated. That's what I'm saying. Nobody can check him, and he can check anybody. So I mean, it carried over into college. I think the only thing is, and it's kind of what happened with Devin Hester, is when you have such a great athlete and he can do all these great things.
Yeah.
If you do have to make a decision, where do you actually put him? Because that's what happened with Devin Hester.
Are you talking about at the next level?
At the next level. Yeah, because see, you had to think like Devin Hester in high school, and he played receiver, a little bit of running back. And then it was like Miami never really figured out how to use him, and he was returned. And it was like he never really solidified himself. Yeah, he was always in limbo and never really solidified himself as a legitimate receiver. And then never really got a chance to play any corner in the league, which he could have as well. He could have been a Pro Bowl corner. But you got to figure out where to put him after a while in the next level.
That's a great point. And for those joining us just right now live, we're waiting on Anwawn to come back with us. He had to run for one of his police officer duties. Hopefully we can have him back here shortly. But we're going to hit some of these topics. So if you are joining us for the first time, right there at the bottom ticker, you guys, you'll see all the topics that we have for the show, the things that matter to you guys that are players, parents, coaches in the industry. We're going to cover it for you so you guys stay on top of what you need to know in the industry. So this one was another one, man. Obviously, there's a ton of influx and a ton of conference changes taking place. And now we've got the Atlantic Coast Conference, the ACCQ, expanding, and they're bringing in Cal, Stanford, and also SMU. Now, there were some in the ACC that were not happy about this, North Carolina being one of them. They didn't think it was enough juice for the squeeze to have their athletes flying all the way to the West Coast just for Cal and Stanford. So I wanted to ask you, man, you already know who's in the ACC. You got your Clemson, you got your Duke, your North Carolina State, Wake Forest. Yeah. When you think about in Syracuse, when you think about Cal, Stanford, and SMU,
right.
Do either of those three entice you as a possible ACC championship contender within the next 5 years?
Absolutely not. I mean, Cal can be. I mean, Cal and Stanford have always been, pretty good programs. But I can agree in regards to the gripe from, North Carolina, and I'm sure other athletic directors, had the same complaint as well. That's hard. I mean, because at the end of the day, they're still student athletes. So it's one of those things where what do you do? I mean, do you have to fly out on a Wednesday or Thursday for a Saturday game a day early because because that flight is so long? So, I mean, that's really, really tough. My question is, and obviously it might have been for the money, but to me, Cal and Stanford, they would have been a better fit in the Mountain West and let SMU maybe try to slide up in the Big 12 with and that would have been a better fit, than them doing what they're doing. I mean, they got to get in what they get in. Whatever bag they're getting, I'm sure is decent with the ACC. That's still a reputable conference. But if you're talking about what makes sense, kids wanting to stay home, their people wanting to be able to still get the home games, and make it convenient for some away games to see a kid play, it would have been a much better fit for Stanford and Cal to go to the Mountain West and SMU to, at least try to slide up in the Big 12. That would have been a much better fit
geographically, but it's about a $15 to $18 million difference, them going to the ACC and staying in the Power Five. The power to be able to say you're a Power Five school does hold some weight. And obviously the Mountain West isn't in the Power Five. So, the unfortunate thing, and this is something we talked about off air, man, is that with the move with Stanford and Cal, then Washington State and Oregon State are pretty much I mean, it's like 99% for sure that they are going to have to make that move that you talked about and go to the Mountain West Conference. So, you know, if you're a player, let's say Q is a DB at Oregon State, and you signed on to play in the Power Five, and now you're being told, hey, you still got your scholarship, you everything's good, but now you're going to be playing in the Mountain West as a cornerback that initially signed to play in the Power Five. Do you have an issue with that?
Well, it depends on the fit. You know, this I was saying. I mean, it depends on, you know, do you have an NIL situation? How strong, you know, how good of the relationship in regards to your position coach? You know, your head coach, and some be a big deal. Me personally, I know with me being a player that I was, being a 4-star kid, that would have been a deal breaker. I got it, because I know what level of competition, you know, who I wanted to go head up with week after week. So that would have been an issue. I'm not saying that for all kids, but that could be a serious issue in regards to recruiting. You can lose a lot of big time recruits, you know, having to go to, you know, that particular conference.
What about as a recruit and you're at Cal and you're at SMU? Are you feeling like you're getting a higher level of play going to the ACC, or do you feel like the Pac-12 was better?
Well, I mean, again, it depends on, you know, in a lot of cases where you're from. You know, I mean, you know, how often your people can see you play. You know, and if they, you know, with any road games, you know, they can still be accessible. Whereas now that's not going to be the case with playing in a conference like that. So, you know, it's a lot of factors, you know, and obviously these schools, it's unfortunate what happened with the Pac-12. Never should have happened. I believe that fell squarely on the commissioner's shoulders of that particular conference, and he just really dropped the ball. And it's unfortunate for these kids to have to go through that. But hopefully they can, you know, they can find a good space and still ball out and do what they can't do in college.
And I see some great comments coming in, you guys. The Mountain West commissioner spoke about possibly adding
Yeah.
OSU and Washington State.
Yeah,
So
they're
yeah,
gonna
you're
have
right
to.
on
They don't
that.
have a home.
We've got DJ coming in and saying college football is going through an identity crisis. So totally got that. We've got Michelle Zapata, and this is somebody that is a before you go pro mother. But played at Cal. She was a Cal athlete. Says Cal and Stanford athletic teams besides football would crush the Mountain West team. So yeah, maybe they would be the most dominant, but they chose to stay Power Five and go with the dollars there. So very, very interesting times, you guys, in college sports. And our audience, as you know, Q, is all athletes, parents, coaches. So these are the things, you guys, that are affecting you directly. We're going to bring it every single Thursday to you so we can hash it out. If you guys do have any questions, anything, you know, the comment section is popping and live. For those that are tuning in to hear the great Anwawn Jones, hopefully we'll have him here shortly. You guys, he popped on for a second and was immediately called away because he's in law enforcement. Something big happened with the Oakland Police Department. He had to go handle some business. We are expecting him back, but you know, you got the guru and you got Coach Wood, so we're gonna hold you down anyway. And then if we do have him back, we definitely want to talk to him about his son Marco, because Marco is a big time prospect in California, and just it looks like he can choose wherever he wants to go. Q. Oregon is literally drooling over this kid. I think they call him every single week. Michigan State, Alabama. I mean, these are cream of the crop schools. He's also a big time baseball player, you know, and highly possible that he'll get drafted for baseball too, man. So, you know, I know we can't speak on behalf of Anwawn because he's the father and he's the one kind of, you know, molding this young man. But if just from me to you, man, if your son is a 4 or 5 star where you start to see national schools get involved, as a parent, do you think that's over the kid's head as far as the choice? Do you think a parent should be more involved when it's at that level, or do you think it's like any other decision where you should just let the kid make the decision?
I think you need to let the kid make the decision. I mean, that's something I know that I can speak for personal experience. I had to endure with, really being, pressed to go, to Kansas, have, family there, mom's from there. So it was like I was really getting a lot of pressure, after I decided to walk away from baseball to head in that direction. You have to ultimately leave it in the hands of the kid. They're the ones that put in all the hard work, and was able to obtain these multiple offers. So guide them. Obviously, it's questions maybe that you want to ask them along the way, and expect some logical answers to. But you have to let them make the ultimate decision, because from that point, you're a young man now. You have to learn how to make decisions, and refer back to your parents as a reference, but you have to learn how to make your own decisions.
No, that's a great point, man. Obviously the higher the kid is ranked, it gets a little more cloudy, as far as like we talked about NIL dollars, maybe fans that are trying to sway you a certain way.
Yeah.
You're going to the game day atmosphere. Some of the game day atmospheres are so over the top that could sway you too, So I think for myself, we're both parents. I think for myself, it would be hard if I felt like he was being swayed for the wrong reason. If I felt like, oh wow, they just told us he can make 100K and NIL money, and now he's talking to me about this school he was never talking about.
Right.
How
And that's
Texas
common.
Tech was never in the mix. And then all of a sudden they're calling us up saying we got 100K for sure. And then now he's talking he want to be a Red Raider. I think I would have a hard problem at that point, just saying make the choice a little bit.
Yeah, no. And I mean, yeah, obviously, I mean, you're there still for support. I mean, again, you're a young man, but I mean, it's still, you still have to be there, to help with logic, in some senses, because naturally a lot of these young kids, naturally gonna be where they chase the bag if they don't have any guidance. But like I said before, they be the best, because you're not hitting on all the bullet points. If getting the bag is this one bullet point and you leave all the rest of your boxes unchecked, then you're probably going to end up in a situation where you're getting the bag, but after a year or so, you're trying to jump in the portal and trying to find yourself a better situation that you should have thought through better in the first place.
No, that's a great point right there.
Yeah.
Let's see what Munoz family. There's a fast rising dual sport basketball. Yes, we know that there is another Marco coming up in another part of the country for sure. First time, glad to find you guys. Ben and Doris, thank you. NIL scammers. Yes, we're about to get to that too, but thank you for joining us, Ben and Doris, for sure. A matter of fact, let's get into that. This is another topic that we definitely want to hear Anwawn speak about. Hopefully it's tonight, but if you guys are joining us, unfortunately he had to run real quick for he's in law enforcement and something popped up and they need his presence. So let's talk about that one, Q. This is another topic, man, and we've just reached upon and touched upon NIL, but Gervon Dexter, man. And this is a big time recruit himself, and then went on to play at the University of Florida. 436K. 436K in NIL money he was promised, but there was a catch. And when you get 436K, youngsters, you got to have somebody besides yourself and your family probably look through everything. Yeah. That should be, your antennas should go up if somebody wants to give you $400,000 to read through it, Q. And it looks like Gervon didn't have anybody read through the contract. Big League Advance Fund said, we got 436K for you, but guess what? 15% of your pre-tax NFL earnings and I believe Q for like 15 years, man. For 15 years. But nobody outside of Tom Brady is even having a 15-year NFL career. And this young man has signed away 15 years of pre-tax earnings. And now he's in a lawsuit. He's trying to sue to get out of this contract that he did sign. He did sign.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck, and we'll all see how this pans out. But obviously, man, we're in a new day and age where there's going to be a lot of instances we haven't seen before, especially for college kids and youth level kids. Do you think that there's some athletes and families that should just not take the money, or do you think that there needs to be more on the part of the schools? Should the schools have some type of consequence for this happening? What's the guru's advice for the NIL scammers?
Here's what the NCAA needs to do, because we have NIL situation in play, which is, them receiving money, players receiving pay, right? You need to be where the NCAA has something in place where if you're receiving any type of NIL or have the opportunity to have NIL deals, you need to be eligible to have an agent while you're still in college. Even though they consider you a non-professional, you need representation.
So they can have a marketing firm, but you're saying an agent.
Yes, because if you have I'm not talking about a marketing firm. You need an agent, because had he had that, or if college players that are receiving NIL deals have proper representation, they would have read through the fine print on that deal and they would have took it and threw it in the trash can or put it in the shredder. It's no way that this kid with representation would have been in that situation. But what happened is no one read through the fine print because you're still a kid. Your people didn't. They just hear that. They just see, 400K. They're all. They didn't read the rest of it. That's a given. So that's why you have representation. So you need to be, as a college athlete, eligible to be able to have an agent, even though you're still in college.
Now let me ask you this, because there's supposed to be, after you get an NIL offer, there's supposed to be a compliance step-by-step that you go with your school, where you're supposed to be reporting these deals to the school. So obviously somehow this got through. In your opinion, do you think the school should face anything with this young man signing this, or no?
No, I think that, it'd be the convenient thing to do to try to blame, the University of Florida. But I really don't think the issue is with the university. It's the fact that you were a young kid that were looking at dollar signs. You had an idea, what you're worth as a player, and you wanted that cash up front, and you didn't read the fine print. This happens in business, in corporate America, all the time, where a situation will happen between two corporations and there's no attorney involved. Right, especially when you have situations where a company is trying to buy out another company or whatever. And again, if there's no attorney involved, then you run into situations like this. That's why these kids need to start having the proper representation.
So let me ask you this: at what point, maybe I'm a parent of a kid that's pretty talented, and what point do I need to start looking for this representation? Is it once they get to college? Is it once they're offered a deal? Is it once they become Travis Hunter? When do I need to start considering this?
I would start considering this once you know that your kid, or they're aware of any type of NIL situation. Once you know, okay, my son has been, or daughter, whatever, has been presented with the NIL situation, okay, that's when representation needs to come into play immediately. Like, there shouldn't even be any decision made, or if you're even going to move forward with the company that's even offering you the deal, until you have an attorney in play. Because to be honest, when you have representation, here's the deal. Say, for example, Coach T, you're back in Boulder, back in the Gap, and you get an opportunity with Burger King. Well, they may offer you $300K. If you have representation, you might get $1 million. That's what representation does for you. You see what I mean?
So not just protected, but maybe even a little more sauce on the
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And then on top of that, your representation will find you other NIL deals and allow you just to concentrate on football. That's
now,
what
as far as proper,
now
as far as proper representation, that's on me though. I got to pick the proper representation.
Oh, absolutely. But it needs to be some type of proper licensed professional sports agent that needs to be representing these kids so you don't see this. And I doubt this will be, the last time that we see this. It would be great. But it's going to continue to happen as long as you have the NIL, which is going to be here. I believe it's here to stay. And you have kids that's chasing the bag, man, and not really looking deeper than numbers on a page.
Yeah. And DJ says exactly. That's what I say. Once they get 4 stars, once they and always read the fine print. I see Coach Hughes saying that. So people are definitely agreeing with the guru on that topic. So, this is live, you guys. All the colleges, from Division I all the way down to NAIA, and about 30 to 32 states for high school athletes. You look at Bronny James, man. You guys can be offered deals. You guys can start businesses. You guys can partner with companies and brands. This is all live. Whole new day and age. The best time in the world to be a student athlete, but a lot of distractions and a lot of opportunity to lose it all, it sounds like, too.
Absolutely. And I mean, again,
or sign away your whole NFL.
Absolutely. So it's one of those things too. I mean, again, when you get representation in play, it's like I was saying, you can concentrate this on school and on football. Your agent will find you other opportunities in NIL deals or whatnot and make sure that you're in the best possible cases. It might be where, hey, you can have profit share into some of these companies, where you're in long term. And now, like you said, Coach, you're a partner, versus you just getting cut a check. Because a lot of athletes don't understand, folks. You don't want to just always be where they're giving you a check. You want profit share. If I can get a percentage of the overall company, even if it's 1 or 2%, versus just a one-time payout of 100 or 200 or 300K, you want the percentage. That's long-term money. An agent can do that for you.
Great point right there, man. And you guys, you young athletes out there, also there's taxes involved. You can put the money in an IRA, different things you can do to limit some of that exposure. So we've got some special things coming to game you guys up on that. I see the Munoz family appropriate fair market value for NIL is also key. Yep, definitely. Because you could, that's a great point right there, man. I could be Bryce Young playing at Alabama and I'm signing this autograph for $300, but he's selling that baby for a lot more.
Right, for 3 times that. Exactly.
So that's a great point right there.
For sure. And if it's like a company, as I was saying, because if it's a company, say you're a company that that has memorabilia, well, okay, well, cool. I want a percentage of what that memorabilia company is doing. If we can partner like that, so that's something you can put together via representation.
Perfect. So, hey, you guys are getting some good sauce. We're going to end up shutting it down tonight. It looks like Anwawn had to stay at his duties with the law enforcement, you guys. Yeah. So we will have him back on because, for one, very dear friend of mine. I seen this man make big time plays on the college football field. So we want to talk about his journey there. But once again, you guys, amazing young athlete in his home, running through his refrigerator that is about to go to a big time school. He's only in the class of 2025, so he's a junior. But as you guys see, some of these schools listed here, Alabama, Arizona State, California, our alma mater, Colorado. This boy can choose wherever he wants to go. So we definitely want to talk to Anwawn about that so he can tell you parents what they're dealing with, what they're hearing from these colleges, what the NIL sauce and talk is that they're hearing in their home, so that you guys can be gamed up. So I'll make sure that we get him back on here soon, you guys. I see we got Michael Jordan Stock. I see the wife coming in here. She says, yes, equity. We talk about equity with our kids. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You gotta have it.
Because think about it, man. If I'm Travis Hunter and I've got all this exposure, and now this sock company or something, or this gloves company wants to do a deal with me, you're the one with the leverage.
Right. Exactly. But the habit of most athletes is well, we'll offer you this much, and again, it's like that money sounds good, especially you're a high, a college athlete, so I mean all those zeros and it looks great, but you're not thinking about, well, okay, well, again, like you said, how much are they really making off of this? How much, if you can afford to pay me $250,000, then how much are you making? But that's the thing that we keep saying, Coach, is about, and that's one of the other, reasons for why we developed the Locker Room Show, is because we want to develop not just good student athletes, but you have to be a businessman now.
Yes. A business.
Whether you major in it or not, you have to understand business
how it works.
This level. Yeah. Especially if you're going into, you're talking about a D1 Power 5 school and you have these opportunities that could be set in front of you. You have to understand business. It's way beyond the gridiron now. Way beyond that. In our era, maybe, not now. You have to understand business.
Not now. And speaking of business, handle this business for us and go on and hit that subscribe button. Go on and hit the like button. It just looks like a little thumb, and you guys can find it and make it happen. I think it's right under the guru. But please hit that, you guys, because every single week we try to give you guys love. We try to give you support and education so that you can navigate this football industry properly and successfully. So please knock that out. Tell your friends, tell your coaches, teammates about it. Also, if you didn't know, you guys, we are doing something special to kick off this football season. A lot of you young athletes are into custom cleats, custom gloves, back plates, things like that. So we got an amazing giveaway, you guys, where we're giving away custom cleats. And we're giving away, a custom backplate, man, to these young athletes, done by the great Matt Bustamante. This is one of the top shoe cleat artists in the game, and he's going to come through. Whatever you want to put on your cleats, you got the college that you're going to go to. You want to put caution or some special wording on your cleats. We're going to get you guys signed up, set up with Matt, and you'll be ready to go. So check out the deadline is 9/14, you guys. 9/14 for that. And a matter of fact, while I got you guys with us right now on the Locker Room Show, I'm going to give you guys the links for the cleats giveaway. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you guys can make sure that you enter today, because you only got one more week to enter into the cleats giveaway, you guys. So I got the link right here. Let me go on and pop that in the comment section. Do not spam us or blow us up. It is one entry per athlete. If you're a parent of an athlete, feel free to enter your child. But there you go. Copy that link. That is the link for the cleats giveaway, you guys. And once again, it's not just cleats. You get a custom back plate where Matt's going to design it exactly how you want. And it's not just first place prize, Q. We got the second place prize, which is the $75 to Dick Sports. We got the third place prize, so how many times do you get a C in class and you still get hooked up, So you got the third place prize, and that is a $25 gift certificate or a card to Battle Sports. So you're going to be dripped up, draped out, and ready to make some plays. And don't win this raffle. Don't have the custom cleats on, not be making no plays.
Hey, you better make some plays.
You're going to get kicked out. You're going to be banned from the Locker Room Show.
Forever, right?
forever if we see you with our cleats on and you ain't making no plays. So that is the rule. So hit that link. Make sure that you get into the custom cleats giveaway again, one more week, you guys, to get into that raffle. And we will be doing the raffle actually on the Locker Room Show
live
on 9/21.
Oh, we doing it live? Because we doing it live?
Live. We doing it live, 9/21.
Beautiful.
We're going to find out who's going to
get
it.
Now y'all really got to tune in. You got to see if you won.
Yes, and make sure you subscribe. And then also, you guys don't forget, Before You Go Pro is more than just content. We actually are practitioners of getting young men to college. These young men that you see on the screen are just a few of our babies that we have gotten to the next level. The gentleman you see on the bottom row in the San Jose State uniform holding up the ball, he's in the NFL now. So we're making moves. We're making moves. And if you need to have somebody help you make moves, we would love to help you. We work with athletes across the country, focused on the 2024 class right now. Our college prospects database is coming out this week. Right here is what it looks like. We only let 10 players at each position. So this isn't NCSA. This ain't nothing else. We're only selecting 10 players at each position so the college recruiters know we got the best of the best, you guys. So, hey, jump into the Cleats giveaway. Jump into the Before You Go Pro recruiting and mentoring program. And always jump into the locker room with us every single Thursday as we continue to game you up this season. Q, anything for the good people as we let them out the locker room?
No, it's going to be a long season and some great games. So like Coach said, if you don't sign up, you can't win these custom cleats. You're going to have the hottest cleats around, hottest back play out there looking sweet with your visor on and looking good in front of your mom, but you got to sign up. That's the only way you can win the giveaway. So make sure you guys do that. And we're going to continue with this debate. I don't know what we're going to debate about next week, but I can guarantee it's going to be something hot. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. The Gridiron Debate. So if you haven't checked out the Gridiron Debate, make sure that you are subscribed to the Before You Go Pro YouTube channel because we got the Locker Room Show. We do recruiting live shows. We bring in the best of the best. We got custom cleats giveaways. So obviously, this is the place to be. So we'll see you next week, you guys, with another amazing guest. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you at the top. Have a good one.